got the A-list. It's no Stephen Ado. It's Chris Canty, the resident Super Bowl champ. And this A-list is fluid. It's fluid. We've got the top 5 quarterbacks on the move this offseason. In any given time, a quarter of the league needs a new quarterback. So we're going to be talking about signal callers that are going to be old faces in new places this offseason. Let's get this list kicked off with number 5. We got Tua leaving Miami. Now, the question with Tua is going to become how much of the base salary are the Miami Dolphins willing to eat? It's already guaranteed the $39 million. Are they going to eat a portion of it in order to facilitate another team trading for him? Or are they going to go ahead and outright cut him and take a $99 million dead cap hit? It's going to be fascinating to see how the Miami Dolphins try to work it. But either way, you're talking about another team getting a quarterback on the cheap that 3 years ago led the league in passing yards, 2 years ago led the league in completion percentage, and a guy who's been knocked for his injury history over the last 3 seasons. He's only missed time for injury in one of those years. So Tua checking in at number 5. Number 4, we got, bam, Mac Jones. 5-3 as a starter in San Francisco this year. He stepped in and played good ball for the 49ers, giving them an opportunity to tread water until Brock Purdy got healthy and get back. Mac Jones finished top 10 in QBR for the San Francisco 49ers. Listen, Mac Jones is not going to be the reason why you win a championship, but Mac Jones can play well enough where your team has an opportunity to do it. He could be the next version of Sam Darnold. He could be in 2026 what Sam Darnold was in 2025. Next, Daniel Jones. Now, injuries are always a part of the story. He's coming off of a season-ending Achilles injury. 7 years in the league, only had 1 season where he was fully healthy. Remember, in New York, he had neck and knee injuries where he missed significant portions of time. It's curious to see what happens with the transition tag and how they work it out, whether a long-term deal or it ends up being a situation where another team swoops in. I think the value for Daniel Jones with the Colts outpaces the value for the rest of the league. I think he's best served staying there, but Daniel Jones, if nothing else, is a capitalist. Next, Kyler Murray. This is another one of those unique situations where the Arizona Cardinals are on the hook for $39 million to this player this year. And so we know that Kyler Murray has a tremendous amount of talent. He was the number 1 overall pick once upon a time. He's got 87 career starts, and he's 29 years old. He's versatile. He's dynamic. The only question is his commitment. Is he going to prepare? Is he going to study? I think Kyler Murray going into a situation where there's a lot of structure, where there's leadership in the locker room already in place, if he can just go in and play quarterback and not have to be a face of the franchise, you could be talking about Kyler Murray helping a team raise the floor from where they're at currently with their quarterback room. But there can only be one number 1, and that would be this man, Malik Willis. Too many people are judging him on the 3 career starts that he had with the Tennessee Titans, but he got with the functional franchise in the Green Bay Packers over the last 2 years, and this guy is 2-1 as a starter. He's got 9 total touchdowns to only 1 pick. Malik Willis has the movement skills that you would look for in a quarterback in this era of the sport. And beyond that, this is a guy that doesn't make a ton of mistakes. I think having some of that Matt LaFleur magic rub off on him is going to serve him well in terms of being the guy that a lot of teams with quarterback questions circle as their priority this offseason. So there it is, my A-list, top 5 quarterbacks on the move. We got Malik Willis, we got Kyler Murray, we got Daniel Jones, we got Mac Jones, and we got Tua.
Really quick, some housekeeping before we get to the grading of the list. There is one more to add here because the Raiders are releasing Geno Smith. So there is one more quarterback that seemingly will be on the move. I don't think he'd impact this list. But nonetheless, our thoughts here on Canty's A-list. What do you think, Mike T?
I'd say like a B, maybe B minus, and let me tell you why. Mac Jones is going nowhere. You made a great point. He was 5-3 as a starter. If the 4 of us were running the San Francisco 49ers, we love Brock Purdy. We don't love his durability. Mac Jones is under contract. You're going nowhere. Geno Smith getting released is really interesting to me, guys. A little bit off topic, but if we're drafting Fernando Mendoza, we're not playing Fernando Mendoza. And Geno Smith, to me, was under contract, great bridge quarterback. But I like Malik Willis, Chris. I think that was a great number 1 because his upside is very intriguing to me. What did we learn this past year? Quarterback development's never in a straight line.
I think the producers handed you a lot of lemons with this list. And I think you did a good job making lemonade. Overall, I think this is a pretty good job. I'd make a couple switches. I'd flip these two. What interests me about Kyler Murray is the idea that his entire career, and I know he said recently he faced adversity, he didn't. He was undefeated in his high school career at Allen High in Texas. It was fantastic. Went to college at Oklahoma, wins a Heisman Trophy. Number 1 overall pick, number 9 overall pick in Major League Baseball to the Oakland A's. And then he goes to Arizona. That was the first big failure of his career. Yep. His entire football career, his biggest failure was in Arizona because they never got anything going. I wonder what that does to him if he gets another opportunity. That's where I'd be looking to buy. Willis, I drop down. I like where you're at. I wonder if our view of Willis is a little skewed because we look at him as a backup. He steps into a tight spot. Normally we expect backups to play poorly. He played well pretty well. And now all of a sudden I think we might overrate him just a bit. But by and large, the big man did a job well done. Okay. Job well done.
The Daniel Jones, just because he's coming off the Achilles, is that why he's in the middle there?
Well, I mean, he's coming off of Achilles, but again, 7 years in the NFL, only 1 full season healthy as a pro. And Daniel Jones has always commanded top dollars. I feel like he's the new age Kirk Cousins in that way. Yeah. So really, when it comes to the value, the cost benefit analysis, that's why I have Daniel Jones 3rd on the list. He's going to get paid.
There's a little UVA Duke residue there.
That's
right. Yeah.
Well, see, here's a deeper dive. Daniel Jones, same high school as yours truly.
Oh, interesting.
So, I root for Daniel Jones now.
Yeah.
I root for Daniel Jones.
That's true. Mac Jones is intriguing to me. Tua, I don't know what to do with Tua.
You do nothing. You don't know. This is avoid at all costs, no matter what team you are. Your situation in Miami couldn't have been better. You had all the weapons. You had the offense. You have a media that doesn't come at you at all.
Gotcha.
And it didn't work out. It did not work out at all.
Let me push back on that. You know, over 60 quarterbacks saw a game last year. We're sitting here, the 4 of us in November. Surprise quarterback helping a team could be him. He has good upside.
Yeah, he has good upside, but I mean, there was a point we remember the Dolphins tank for Tua, and now we're like,
sure,
beat nobody ever. Never won a game. Never won a game.
Let's start making some predictions. Graz, what do you have in your Friday forecast for NFL free agency?
Forgotten guy, but I think Brandon Ayuk. I know Brandon Ayuk's going to get released this week. I think he's going to make his way to the Washington Commanders. Reunite with Jaden Daniels. They were college teammates. Adam Peters, the GM there in Washington, knows Ayuk from San Francisco. Makes too much sense. It's a move I don't think a lot of people are thinking of, but I would expect it.
Okay, yeah, he's been sort of a forgotten player for a variety of reasons. Tim Hasselbeck up with us this morning. Give me a Friday forecast. What's a move you'd like to see happen in free agency?
How about Kenneth Walker to the Denver Broncos? I think because of the running backs that are going to be hitting the market, guys like Travis Etienne, J.K. Dobbins, who's in Denver, I don't think it's going to be crazy money for the running backs. And for Denver, you're getting younger with Walker. I think you're getting better with Walker than J.K. Dobbins. And so I think it makes a lot of sense. Kind of for Sean Payton, that like Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara mix, I think you get that with R.J. Harvey, who's already there in Denver. I'd like that move a lot.
Okay, I like it too. And then finally, Mike T, give me a free agency move for a Friday forecast.
Kyler Murray to the Minnesota Vikings. If I'm Kyler Murray, I am walking there. We were looking for a redemptive story like Sam Darnold at Seattle last year. Kyler Murray's ceiling with that offense, that is a Super Bowl team. He's had an up and down career thus far in Arizona, but with Kevin O'Connell and those weapons, they could make the Super Bowl in 2020.
I hear it, and I hear so many people up here say it. And I have to confess, I'm skeptical. You're talking about what his ceiling is. I get it. But how often do we see the ceiling? Or maybe I should point out, how often do we not? I mean, are we ready to anoint the Vikings a Super Bowl team if they get Kyler Murray?
Yeah, because Kevin O'Connell has shown he can win games with a lot of different quarterbacks. The only one that has prevented it so far is J.J. McCarthy.
Right.
And they don't know what they have there. So Minnesota's plan is to try and bring in some kind of veteran, someone like Kyler Murray, or like if Geno Smith were to get cut from the Raiders, who you can get on a minimum salary deal. So it's not a major commitment. So if the light goes on for J.J. McCarthy and he beats the guy out, it's not the end of the world. Kyler Murray is a former #1 pick that would get J.J. McCarthy's attention and might be exactly what Minnesota's looking for.
Greeny, if we go back a couple of years ago, you probably had the same reaction about Sam Darnold leaving the Jets.
Right.
Really inconsistent. Daniel Jones leaving the Giants. Really inconsistent. So from an evaluation standpoint, you say, is it on tape? Yes, it is. Can we get it out of him more consistently? As Graz just said, with Kevin O'Connell and those two wideouts, I believe they can.
Let me ask Mike. Currently 30-1 to win the NFC. They're tied for 10th in terms of the odds.
Wow.
So they're an afterthought. If you think a move like this can put them in contention, that's a great play. And keep in mind with Murray, he had only ever known success in his career. Undefeated as a starter at Allen High in Texas, goes into college, wins a Heisman Trophy, contends in the playoff, goes pro, was drafted 9th overall by the Oakland A's, formerly the Oakland A's. This is the first big adversity he's faced. I'm very interested to see how he bounces back coming off this.
How do you like the mix there, Tim Hasselbeck, as a quarterback, Kyler Murray, and the offense that we typically, at least, have seen Kevin O'Connell run?
Yeah. I don't think it moves the needle the way, Mike and Graz are saying that it will. I just don't. Look, the physical ability is there. Like, there's no question about that. That's never been the issue. And so I think that when a quarterback goes in, and it's not just strictly anointing the guy as the starter, you're walking into an awkward situation where there's a first-round draft pick who they're not ready to totally turn the page on yet. There's a lot that goes into it. That relationship between both quarterbacks, how you end up, winning over the locker room. And so I think when you look at, the Daniel Jones situation in Indianapolis, completely different. Anthony Richardson wasn't healthy. I mean, no one there thought that he could play. I don't think that that's how people in Minnesota feel currently about J.J. McCarthy. And so I think the dynamic of that, and then just quite frankly, without, I'm not trying to, be hard on Kyler Murray in this respect, but, he's not exactly a guy that is known to win over the locker room with a bunch of his teammates in terms of how he handles things, how he responds to adversity. And so, I don't think it's something that I would feel comfortable saying, that's going to be an offense that absolutely turns it around under his leadership.
Okay. A lot of different opinions there, and that's what it's all about. We'll see where it winds up. Let's finish the show where we began it. The Bears agreeing to trade DJ Moore and a 5th-round pick to Buffalo for a 2nd-round pick this year. Move clears up $16.5 million in cap space for Chicago. They've been busy clearing space this week. Dan Graziano, should we be expecting them to be using that money to go big game hunting?
I think so, and I think, unfortunately, Max Crosby made sense there and may still, but they had a surprise retirement from their 27-year-old center, Drew Dahlman, this week. Tyler Linderbaum, the Ravens center, is on the free agent market, likely to get a big payday. I wonder if some of Chicago's resource money goes in that direction.
What do you think?
A year from now, Caleb Williams is extension eligible. Sense of urgency is right now. Go get the veteran pass rusher, draft Dahlman's replacement, and be it Crosby, Hendrickson, go get a pass rusher because a year from now you may not be able to afford it.
Make sure the quarterback's standing upright is what I say. If it all falls apart on the offensive line, it's not going to matter. The development has been great. I'd love to see Max Crosby there, but the O-line's where they got to be.
Hasselbeck.
Yeah, I think they're in great shape at wide receiver, just pass catchers in general when you think about Loveland as well. To me, the focus should be on the defensive side of the ball. Big investments in the O-line a year ago. So I think this made a ton of sense for Chicago based on how they've drafted wide receivers and how good the young guys have been.
I'm fascinated by the Crosby-Hendrickson dynamic. Crosby obviously is the greater player, but he costs you more than just money,
right? Because
you have to trade for him. Myles Garrett, I guess, would be the dream scenario, the pie in the sky scenario, but he costs you probably everything, right? He costs you.
And
they're not even looking to trade him.
Hasn't indicated they want to trade him.
Right.
So, yeah, he may not just be gettable.
Or take some kind of a Godfather offer. We will see. The fun will begin on Monday. We'll be here.